Trade facilitation has become a fundamental approach to the global trading system. In order to overcome the obstacles that hinder activities in this sector, the member countries of the World Trade Organization developed and signed in December 2013 in Bali, Indonesia, during the 9th WTO Conference of Ministers, the Agreement on Trade Facilitation. The objective is to simplify business transactions between the 110 signatory countries and reduce the associated costs based on transparency and predictability, among others. Entered into force in 2017, the agreement represents a major step in the implementation of the provisions to accelerate the international movement of goods, including those in transit.
Les obstacles au commerce sont plus des obstacles.
Barriers to trade are more obstacles put in place by different countries than tariff barriers. So far, the WTO has focused on reducing tariffs. We realized that the entities were more significant, hence the importance of concluding a trade facilitation agreement, which I would say is a more detailed implementation of 3 articles of the GAT, the Article 10, Article 5, and Article 8, which are general rules, whose application was not very easy, and it was necessary for the member countries to meet in order to have a much clearer and more detailed provision. And with all this, the end result was the agreement on trade facilitation.
C'est cela qui a abouti à l'accord sur la facilitation des échanges.
Ce qu'il faut comprendre, c'est qu'en réalité,
what needs to be understood is that the WTO has in fact chosen to apply differential treatment according to the capacity of the countries to implement the various measures. And Senegal, being a less advanced country, did benefit from this special and differential treatment. It is in this context that we are setting up the Business Information Portal, and it is also in this context that we are developing a program of approved economic operators. We are also identifying under Article 6 of the agreement import and export fees and charges, as well as port clearance control measures.
Senegal has started, as soon as this agreement was adopted, the process of its implementation through the National Subcommittee on Trade Facilitation, created well before the conclusion of the TFA.
Senegal's accession to the agreement on trade facilitation is, from my point of view, an excellent thing, as it will strengthen our capacities, first of all to steer the commercial activity and then to be able to bring the other sectors of activities through trade. For us, it is fundamental. It will also allow us to have a better integration in the sector of the trade at the global level, and also to be able to give our measure within the framework of the exchanges at the regional level, and also to be able to give our measure within the framework of the exchanges at the regional level and at the African level. In conclusion, I believe that the agreement is a rather interesting instrument of modernization of our commercial activity and probably of capacity building and strengthening of the values.
Le Sénégal, bien avant même l'accord sur la facilitation des échanges, avait déjà mis en place.
Before the agreement on trade facilitation, Senegal had already established a National Trade Facilitation Subcommittee, which is a dismemberment of the National Committee on International Trade Negotiations.
Le problème sur le plan institutionnel à prendre en charge l'accord sur la facilitation des échanges.
And we did not really have any problems with regards to the institutional level to take over the trade facilitation agreement, and the role is to coordinate trade facilitation activities. In this subcommittee, you have all the stakeholders, the public sector, the private sector, but also the partners. We are working in synergy so that together we can ensure that Senegal complies with these commitments on the trade facilitation agreement.
À ces engagements relatifs donc à l'accord sur la facilitation des échanges.
The principle of transparency and predictability of border regulations and procedures provided for in Article 1 of the TFA is an essential element of trade facilitation for the benefit of commercial actors.
L'article 1 demande à tous les États de publier.
Article 1 requires all states to publish in a clear and non-discriminatory manner all provisions relating to international trade. And Article 1 recommends to the states, it is not an obligation, but was a very strong recommendation to make this publication through the Internet.
Recommandation très forte de faire cette publication par le biais d'Internet. L'obligation, c'est de publier.
The obligation here is to publish. The use of the Internet is not an obligation, but practically all states understand that it is much easier for information seekers to make it available on the Internet, and many states have put in place a business information portal in which they publish all information of interest to the trade, laws, regulations, procedures, documents, forms, all that one will need to know when he wants to trade with another country.
The port of Dakar is a crossroads of international trade on which importers, exporters and freight forwarders circulate or unload millions of tons of various goods. These operators invest considerably time and cost in the transportation of products and procedures when crossing borders. In order to simplify these procedures and strengthen access to strategic information, Senegal now offers operators the PIC, the Business Information Portal. The PIC is a project of the Ministry of Commerce, Informal Sector, Consumption and SMEs of Senegal. It is supported by the USAID, the U.S. Agency for International Development, that has been supporting many African countries in building their trade capacity for several years.
En tant que plateforme électronique,
as an electronic platform which brings together all regulations and procedures related to trade and applied by the ministries and agencies of the Senegalese government, the PIC promotes clear and transparent policies and procedures contributing to the creation of a stable trading environment and investments with a low level of risk. And thanks to this portal, trade actors could be in compliance with the agreement on trade facilitation while participating in improving the business climate in Senegal.
Avec ce portail, le Sénégal met à la disposition des opérateurs économiques nationaux.
With this portal, Senegal makes available to national economic operators and also to the operators from outside information on its regulations, import, export and transit procedures, but also in a non-restrictive manner, laws, administrative procedures, didactic notes, applicable rights and tax forms, licenses and permits, etc. I have no doubt that the transparency and predictability of commercial transactions will be greatly enhanced, and that this portal, accessible through the web, will be a non-negligible tool available for companies and potential investors.
The Trade Information Portal is a key step in realizing Senegal's vision of strengthening and diversifying exports by reducing the cost of transport and therefore trade. It has just been installed in Dakar in June 2018.
Les objectifs qui sont poursuivis, c'est premièrement de...
For the first objective, it is first of all a question of reinforcing the accessibility of commercial information by putting all the commercial information in Senegal in one place, meaning that all the regulations, all the requirements and all the procedures relating to trade here in Senegal.
Au commerce, au Sénégal. Donc, the second
objective is to improve the cooperation between public administrations, ministries and all government agencies. It is also about facilitating trade and increasing transparency. The last objective pursued was to allow Senegal to comply with Article 1 of the TFA and also Article 10 of the GAT, which stipulates that all regulatory information relating to trade must be available to users.
Disponible pour les usagers.
L'enjeu dans le monde, c'est c'est la maîtrise de l'information et nous sommes dans une économie de savoir.
The challenge in the world is information literacy, and we are in a knowledge economy, knowledge-based economy, which is built on information that immediately makes the difference by making the right decisions. Thus, having the possibility of acquiring a portal is a fundamental challenge that the authorities have been able to meet. I congratulate them. And the other challenge is to ensure that the private sector appropriates this portal, and for that, I think it is necessary to help them to reinforce these capacities so as to better master the tools, the processes and the instruments in which they will be able to better use this portal for the benefit of the economic activities, but especially for the benefit of the economic growth of our country.
La croissance économique de notre pays.
C'est un outil justement.
It is a profitable tool. It is also a tool of competitiveness, and I launch appeal to the private sectors. And I do it also to the administration so that they improve the synergy, so that they improve their collaboration to make available to citizens and businesses the most accurate and the most current information possible. But it is also a call to the international private sector to tell them that Senegal now has a focal point, an entry point for everything that is relevant to investment, trade, procedures, and I believe that this is something to encourage in order to advance in this world of competition.
The effective implementation of the priority provisions of the Agreement on Trade Facilitation implies for the signatory countries to introduce measures that promote the reduction of the main trade and non-tariff barriers. By adhering to the agreement, Senegal wants to present itself as an attractive market for importers and exporters, thus to contribute to an economic and legal environment conducive to investment, creator of wealth and quality jobs.